I've just put loads of things away on the railway. I'm just going to move this Princess Victoria around to the other side. And I'm going to try and sort out a siding next to the Dublo Station, which has been sort of neglected for quite some time. And ideally today I want to get that sorted out. So let's just put the controls down there and let's have a quick look around here. So it's this siding here which comes in alongside the Dublo Station. So since I put the station in, it's crept back a little bit, but I don't think it's going to creep back any further, because we get problems with the end of the station there. So I thought I can just get that little bit of extra length on the rail there, because when it went in, it's never been screwed down. Well, it's been pinned very lightly down here, and even these track joints I don't think are very good. So I'm going to have a look at those and try and work out whether I can get away with a quarter piece on there. I've had a look, I haven't got another piece sort of cut already which will go in there. That's a cut piece. But when I originally put this in, that fitted, and I've ended up with a little bit more there, so we shall see. We'll just jump the other side and have a quick look at the pieces I've found. I also got these switches, on-off switches, ages ago, and I planned to finish off the uncoupling, not the uncoupling, the isolation. And on these long sidings, when I got those in, I put those loops in there, and then that one needs the holes drilling through. And I do have a couple which still haven't been done on the Dublo. So I think we've got these two outside sidings here, so there and there, they need sorting. I don't think I'll get those done today, but ideally what I'd like to do is just get the track sorted on there and a switch made up and in there. But let's see if a eighth piece will go in there. Let's pop this down. So we've got various bits and pieces, none of this track is really ready to use. We've got some eighths here. Let's just shake those out and see if we can find one that's less rusty, shall we say. They're all rusty to a certain degree. They're all going to require a little bit of preparation. I don't want to dismantle these. My fear is if you try and take the rail out of the track bed on these, it just it breaks the rail. So I think we'll possibly get one of those in there. Let's see if we can get in a bit closer and still be able to get that rail there. So I think I've got about 4 or 5 millimeters at the end just in there which we could use. Let's take that buffer stop out of the way there. So we've got a couple of mil in there. That fish plate could come off, and I'd actually rather just file just a little bit on there. Or I could just get into cutting a piece which will make up from there to there. And I have selected a couple of pieces which are good candidates for that from the semi-scrap or to be made into other things box. So either of these two rails I could shorten, but it would be much simpler to put in the eighth, but it is more joints, more track joints. So I'm going to just set the camera up and we'll just have a look at see if we can get that in there and see what we're left with over there. So when I put this in, it was all just stood in really. It's only screwed down to there, and I don't think these track joints are terribly well made. So we'll just whip this out here, make this a bit easier to get the eighth piece in there, and we'll just move that building back a fraction. I'm moving the platforms over there, but we'll attend to that later. So we'll just pop this in as a temporary measure to see what the fit's like. That's quite, there we go. I've got that in there. Yeah, I can already see the fish plate is loose on there, so we're going to have to adjust that. And we'll just bring that in there. That buffer stop will sit in there nicely, so I think that's a nice gap. It's not pressed right up against the building. We've just got that extra little bit of length in there. So the ultimate plan is to get one of those Hornby Dublo sort of good sheds with the crane in this area. But yeah, I never did get that wide up. So what I'll do is I'll whip all this out of here. We'll get it all cleaned up, and then we'll get it all installed. See, that rail is very loose against that fish plate there, so we've got to get that sorted. So that's never going to be a terribly good connection. And the less we play around with these little quarters, the better, I think. So take that one out there. That was quite a loose connection as well. And this is very, very loose here. So yeah, I think I might even go back and take right down to here and check this lot out. But I'll get that lot cleaned up and we'll get it all back in, and then we'll get some holes sunk through the board. So I did go and take one of these rails out very, very carefully. I don't know whether you can see that fish plate is really, really wobbly, so there was not much, well, it could have been quite a dodgy joint, so I've decided to have a go at trying to just tag these, solder this fish plate on. I've done all of the rest of the fish plates on the railway by putting the cut or a cross cut behind them. So we solder the fish plates directly to the rail, which hugely improves the continuity. So I'll have a go at doing that while we're on camera here, but I think it might be too fiddly to try and keep in the frame. I'm just going to reach across and get a little solder, and excuse me fiddling with that. So we'll get a little solder, and then we'll get this plastic out of the way so we don't accidentally get it with a soldering iron. Now I've got this sort of together in a peg, and I've got a groove cut in the peg, so it's really handy for holding the track. But so I'm going to warm that up, and again, if I can't get this done on camera here, we'll just break away from it, and I'll do it with a little bit more concentration. A lot of noise going on in the background, so we want to get plenty of heat on there. Now I have cleaned all that up with a bit of lighter fuel and on a cotton bud to try and improve it. So there should be it usually works quite nicely. So just try and encourage a little bit of heat in there. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I'm holding focus on this. So I realise this could be quite dull, watching solder drop into the rail. So that's taken to the rail, and ideally this is taken to the fish plate, and then we'll finish that off with a file. So I've done that one. We'll have a look at that in a moment. I'm just going to give that a clean up. I've put a cut across the back of there. I've used the let's just grab that. Just use the disc on the rotary tool. So we'll just give that a clean up, and that one I've already gone ahead and given it a good clean. So I've cleaned, sort of taken away the excess solder, and by putting that cut in there, hopefully we've got a nice joint through there. So I've done all of the fish plates, almost all of the fish plates. The only ones I haven't done are the other quarter eighths. I keep calling these quarters, are the other eighths, but I figured that this one just runs back into that siding there, so the continuity is going to be really important, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I was quite impressed with myself that I even got these out without breaking them, because the last time I tried this it didn't end well. So ideally we'll get these back into the rails, and sort of, I don't know whether I can do this on camera. So I like to push these against a sort of hard surface. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that while we're on camera there. So we can just ease that in there like that. Hopefully we're holding focus. So this is where the hards, there we go, we've got that in, and we haven't broken the sleeper chairs there. So there's a original rusty one, and there is the one I've just done. So I'll go ahead and we'll get this next one soldered up, and I'll go ahead and do that one as well, but we won't do it all on the camera. Let's see if we can just add a bit of solder to this one. We'll grab the iron, we'll just move those things out of the way, and then we'll heat this up. So most of the track on the railway is sort of end of life, really. It is the last, well, it's not pretty, as it were. So I've taken the decision to make these solder joints on all of the rails, including the ends of the points. It's quite time consuming, but I think it pays off in the improvement in the continuity. So we just need to be patient and let that warm up. So that peg is a really nice tool, along with that little bit of wood I showed stuck on the corner of the railway. No, not on the railway, on the workbench here. So there we go, that's come in quite nicely. We'll just encourage that in there, and then I'll let that cool. I'll clean that up, and we'll get all that track back on the railway. So finally got all that track cleaned up and installed back on the railway. Took a bit longer than I'd anticipated. We're now sort of getting on for 8 o'clock in the evening. So I started this at lunchtime, having decided to take the day off because it's 1st of December and the snow has been really bad, really not great for going out and working today. So I've spent the day the afternoon with the railway, and we've got this done. But again, these things always end up taking up more time than you think, and other things needed doing as well. Let's give this a little power. We'll just run this princess out. So just back that up. So that runs quite nice into there. Actually, if we stop that there, and we'll force it to stop there. So let's give that a bit more power now. Yeah, so that does exactly what you'd think it would do. So I thought it'd be just quite nice to have perhaps a couple of locos sitting there, maybe a tiny little goods train coming in there, and then something else could take some of the wagons away. I don't know whether I can I encourage that back into there? We might be able to. There we go. Sorry, I'm looking at what I'm doing and not where the camera's gone. So I've had those need sorting as well, but I think we'll get the one next to the station sorted first, and then we'll move on to that. And one more time there. And then we'll just roll gently back again. Pay a bit more attention to what I'm doing with the switch. So I think what we'll do, we'll get some holes drilled in there, and we'll get the switch set up, but not. Whoops! I nearly pulling the cable off the edge of the table there. My mistake. So that's the other isolating rail which goes in the station. It isolates at both ends, so I can hold something in the station while I use the rest of the railway. So I'll just go ahead and get some holes drilled in there and get that switch all hooked up. So I made these cables up a little bit earlier on, put the pins on the end, just soldered them in. So we'll just pop these in here, or one in here. We'll get an idea where the hole needs to be drilled, see if we can get that in there. So we want a gentle arc downwards on there, so let's get the drill, and we'll just sort of look into there, and I think there is going to do it, he says. So we'll just drill through there. I have already checked underneath, so we shouldn't be drilling into any relays. I have, however, forgotten to bring the hoover, so we'll just rub that out of the way, and then we'll drill the other hole parallel to it. We'll have to get the hoover in a moment. 2mm drill bit. I think this is a 16 strand equipment wire. So let's see if we can pop that one through there. Pop that in there. Reasonably nice fit. And if we grab hold of the cable from underneath, we can just get that a gentle. Try and keep my hands out of the way. There you go, and we'll just turn that around, I think. So it looks prettier that way up. Might as well pop the other one in while we're at it. See if we can get that in there. And I'm just going to grab it from underneath again and just pulled the wrong one. See if we can pull that in there. I didn't pull that far enough. We'll just pull that just a fraction more. There we go. I think if I just grab this screwdriver, which is out of shot, I'll just put a gentle, just shape the wires a little bit, and I shall hoover those up in a moment, and then we'll get that installed as well. I had a terminal block somewhere for that. I can't remember where I've put it. So that's probably quite enough of that. If I just grab the switch, which is out of shot at the moment, we'll give that a quick test. So that's going to do the trick. So we'll just do a little bit of tidying up, I think. So this is the boring bit, putting all these bits and pieces away, and remembering to turn this meter off. Actually, this one turns itself off, which is quite good because I'm forever running the batteries down on this one. So it's a cheap one from one of the budget supermarkets. So let's just give that a little power. Let's see if that'll run into there. So that does its job, doesn't it? So we've got the switch hiding under here. So I've left it relatively short. It's just going to hang around here with the other switches. We'll change that around there. So then we'll just back that out. So I think that's a relatively good job done, eating up far more of the day than I had anticipated, as usual. So these things always go on a little, but I thought we should probably have a little bit of running. I'll tidy up. We're not going to film tidying up, it's far too dull, but I just came across this set when I was looking for some other things, the RS.4. I'm sure I've showed this before. I think this is from 1960. It's got some paperwork. It's not a complete set. It's got the interesting bits in it though. So we've got a Ginty, we've got the brake van, an open wagon, and what looks like a fish van there. So we've got some paperwork there with the 18th of the 3rd, 1960 on. It's a RS.4 there. So we've seen one of these books before. And we've got the servicing scheme book back there. So what I'll do, I'll get this all tidied up. The part of the box is missing there. So I'll get all this tidied up. I'll get these out on the rails. I'll have a go at running that Ginty into the siding with the new isolated rail. So I'm going to call it an uncoupling rail again. I've got tidied up enough to have a play with the railway. I'll leave the tools scattered on the floor in the corner there so I can use them over the weekend perhaps. So we've got that RS.4 set out there. Great Ginty, open wagon, fish van and a brake van. I think you'd have been quite pleased with this on your birthday. Let's give this a little power, see if we can get it out for a swift run on the inside line. So we'll try and keep the video reasonable. So we'll just pop that out there and then we'll switch out the points. There we go. So grab the right one, make that straight, and then let's give that a little power and see if we can get a couple of nice shots of this running around. We'll put the controls down. I think I've left everything else in a sensible position. So a classic set of wagons, really. Around past the sidings. Dublo Station looks great in the background. So a little stutter on the points there, making me wonder whether I'd left them in the right direction or not, but I think I did. Let's come up above for a moment or two. So this engine has got a replacement decal on one side of it. I made it out of paper. I think I showed it before in the past. And the safety valves appear to be sort of chromed ones rather than brass in colour or coppery colour. There it is, just stuttering a little bit on that particular point. So I think maybe it's had a bit of a history, this locomotive, or this set perhaps. Let's just follow that round the once more, and we'll see if we can get these into the siding. We'll leave them there, leave the wagons back in the siding where it came from, and we'll put this Ginty just in that siding at the Dublo Station with the Princess Victoria. Around she comes. Right, let's see if we can grab the controls as we come around. There we go. Let's go for a little express freight. Tearing around. I imagine there was a lot of running around a circle of track like that for little groups of models like this in the back when these were given as presents. Let's open this point. So, whoops, I've gone the wrong way. There we go. And let's back that through the points. Fingers crossed for no derailments. Actually, let's just stop there and we'll activate an uncoupling ramp and see if we can uncouple. So on we go. Have we got that? I think I just missed it. So let me roll that forward again, and then we'll back that up. That was a bit more abrupt than I was expecting. There we go, got it eventually. I think it might benefit from a little bit of a clean. I did clean this up when I first got it, but it sat in the box for quite a while. There we go. So let's go for some point work. So we'll go straight up. I've got to stop that very close to the point blades. And then back we go with it. And let's run it through here. Not the most direct route to where we want to go, but I think it'll do the trick. So I just opened the crossover. It sounded like the crossover, and I think I had the crossover switch. So let's go back. Yeah, a little bit of a hesitation on the diamond. And then we'll switch those again. So we'll do that one. Sorry, wrong one. I really should look. And the blue one. And we'll roll around just the other side of the elevated section. There we go. I'm going to go for the points here, curved, and then we should, all being well, come back through here. So that's what I'd envisaged, perhaps storing a couple of locomotives like that. But you think these things through, get a little goods train there, have to get on and find the Hornby Dublo, or the goods shed with the crane. So I think that's going to be quite nice to sitting there. Let's just pick this off the rails for a moment and have a look over it. See if we can get a little bit closer. And you see they are sort of chromed, the safety valves, so I think there must be a replacement. So that's an original decal on that side. So a quick look over that. Have a swift look underneath. Yeah, so there's a bit of a build-up of dirt on those wheels, so could benefit from a clean. So they go dull when you leave them, even if they're clean when they go away, because they're sort of the material they're made of. So that decal there is just a paper replacement. I lay this on the scanner and made a copy of it, I think. Or did I copy it from another one? I can't remember now. I think I covered it in a video that I made a while ago. So that's the sorry, not the original. That's the paper copy. If I hold that down there and I'll turn this around and see if I can superimpose the other side of it at the top of the screen at the same time. And then let's just do that with it. So I think from sort of arm's length, if we hadn't said anything about it, we'll put it in there like that. I don't think we'd ever really know. So it does sort of sit proud of the surface, although the original decal on it isn't exactly flush with the surface either. It is quite raised up. But I think that's it for this time. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. A bit different for a change, a bit of fiddling with the wires and so on. But if you look back again next time, I'll see if we're going to have something else interesting to look at. Goodbye now.